Baseball isn't just numbers, numbers, numbers.
This game is not being played on computers.
You don't do that with a bunch of statistical gimmicks.
You don't put a team together with a computer.
We're talking weighted runs created plus,
expected WOBA,
his sweet spot rate,
defensive runs above average,
average exit velocity,
barrel rate,
xFIP,
BABIP,
SIERA.
We are above replacement radio. And welcome to Above Replacement Radio, where we're talking baseball kind of whenever. I am your host, Chris Gianta. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Curran. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I'm doing great tonight. We had another fun week of baseball, one that was highlighted by, I think, like my favorite day on the regular season calendar this year. We had on Friday, we had the Peyton Tolley, Jonah Tong debut double feature with special guest Paul Skeens. Yuri Perez was also there, but it was a very exciting night for pitching around the league. And obviously both of them were fantastic. That was the highlight of my week. How about you?
Yeah, it seems nice. Highlight of my week was around the same time. Monticello really put a beat down on William Monroe for football. So shout out to the Monticello High School football team. That's what I was
and you were big on them in preseason.
Oh yeah. New head coach. So. Former Division I assistant head coach. Very good program over there, Monticello. Mm-hmm. I missed out on the Peyton Tolley debut. I think it should be mandatory. Like anytime there's like not that Tolley was a phenom, but like phenom
starting
pitcher prospects should like have to debut against like the Pirates. I think that's just fun. It's a nice little touch. Didn't
Strasburg
Strasburg?
Yeah, Strasburg was against the Pirates. Skeens was for the Pirates, so that's kind of tough. I don't know how you would have pulled that off.
Yeah, they should have had him pitch against his own team.
Yeah, inter-squad spring training.
Yeah,
I mean that doesn't really count, but like.
Yeah, it's hard when your team is the Pirates, but
yeah, which is such a rare thing too. Like,
yeah, 1 out of 30 chance.
Yeah, I mean, Bubba Chandler, we had that opportunity, but they said, no, we're actually going to put him in the bullpen. So he's not a phenom starting pitcher prospect, actually.
Yeah,
even though he
exactly.
is. Yeah. Tong was very fun. Tolley was very fun. I very much enjoyed getting to watch both of them. Have you gotten to see like any of them so far at all? I'm sure you saw the stuff.
Yeah, I haven't really been able. I've meant to watch like replays and stuff and like go back and watch some of their outing, but I think I might do that tomorrow or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely exciting for both of those teams, considering like those two guys might end up pitching in the playoffs, which is
they
really
should.
Cool.
So Jonah Tong has a 64 degree average arm angle, which is the second highest among right-handed pitchers. And like he's not like his build is not that kind of guy. Like he's a smaller guy. He's 22, but he looks 18. Like if you look at a picture of him and if I told you that was a senior in high school, you would probably believe me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. You're looking at it now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I saw the photo of his finish. And it makes sense.
The Lincecum,
that would be his arm angle. If he's finishing that low, he must be coming over top pretty hardcore.
Well, he does he literally. So he, I mean, you could probably tell by looking at his delivery, but he grew up idolizing Tim Lincecum.
Yeah,
because it's literally the exact same thing.
Right. Yeah,
that's the comparison everyone was making this weekend.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it makes sense. Very exciting, and yeah, I mean, like, I think it would be cool for both of those pitchers to be in the, involved with the team in the postseason, especially the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Because behind Garrett Crochet, there's not a lot of pitchers you could confidently put ahead of Tolley, I guess, even if Tolley doesn't have the most experience.
I think if they're in if they're in a best of 7 series, they want a 4-man rotation. I think it should go Crochet, Bayo, Tolley, Giolito.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Not just largely for like the left right aspect of it. I would like that.
Right. Yeah, it would be cool for sure. It's cool. The Red Sox don't really develop pitchers that much. So hopefully this is a bit of a change, and there's something there with Peyton Tolley. Um,
As for
but
Tong, like, yeah, I mean, I think he and McLean and maybe even Sprout, if he's up, like, could either be in the rotation or have like huge roles for the team in October.
yeah,
It'd be very fun.
I'm unfamiliar with what their pitching situation looks like now.
It's
'Cause like
well, Senga's struggling right now. Holmes is like kind of running on empty. Like it's obviously his first time starting in a while, and he's hit his career innings high, and it's showing. Peterson's been good, but not lately. Really, no, basically no one has been good lately except for Tong and McLean.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah, it
interesting.
would be very fun if the Mets just say, you know what, we're done with three rookies in this series.
Yeah, the
And
old
it's like it's a thing that has a unlikely but definitely non-zero chance of happening.
that was 2012 A's did that and 2021 Rays.
Yeah, McClanahan, Rasmussen, and who was the other one?
Boz.
Was it Boz? It was Boz in game two. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the 2012 A's was like Jared Parker, Tommy Malone, just some names, and then
Uh yeah.
uh Sonny Gray, maybe I don't know if Sonny Gray,
Who's the dude with the hair that pitched for the 2012 A's?
AJ Griffin.
That guy. Yep.
Yeah, he had a nice looping curveball, I remember. Um, but yeah, so the Mets have Jonah Tong. They're also in a fairly comfortable place relative to where they were maybe a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
thanks to some struggles by the team that was chasing them, and is still chasing them, I guess. But yeah, the Cincinnati Reds were kind of the competitor. The seemed like the team that could take a playoff spot away from the Mets, and it's still possible, but it's certainly a lot less possible than it was a couple weeks ago. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Their playoff odds in this span have gone from 19% to 4%. Meanwhile, the Mets playoff odds have gone from 84% to 93%, even though I think during the span, they've played kind of average. I think they've played around 500 ball in this span. What have been your thoughts on just the race getting a little bit less intense in the National League wild card?
Yeah, I mean it's a bummer. I would love to have seen the Reds make a playoff push in September, and they certainly still can. But they're definitely gonna have a lot more. They're gonna have to rely a lot more on a downfall from any team, whether it be one of the NOS teams, the Mets, the Cubs, which is seems like less and less likely every day. Yeah, I mean they haven't done their part. They were half a game behind the Mets, and now they're, I believe, 5 games back since August 20th, which is their last 9 games, not including today. They have a 72 weighted runs created plus as a team. The only teams better are the Rockies, the Angels, and the Guardians. The only teams that they are better than, sorry. They're hitting 218 as a team. They have a 349 slugging. It's just, it's really been the offense more than anything. Only three guys have a weighted runs created plus in the span above 100. It's Miguel Andujar with only 24 plate appearances at 128, Noelvi Marte at 115, Key Brian Hayes at 113, and then it's Austin Hayes 93, Gavin Lux 77, Matt McLean 74, Spencer Steer 73, Ellie De La Cruz is down to 63 with no walks and a 36% strikeout rate in the span. TJ Friedel has a 63 as well. Like it just isn't the offense just isn't doing what it needs to do, and that's obviously I think kind of an essential thing for a good Reds team, obviously, with that ballpark.
Right. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, like I just wanted to bring it up because, it seems as we head into September here that the National League playoff picture, not in terms of seeding, but in terms of who the teams are that will be playing, seems kind of set, which it
Mhm.
definitely didn't at this point last season.
Last week,
Obviously, surprises can
or even just
happen,
last week.
yeah, teams can fall out, teams can really surge, but it's kind of hard to get geared up for September baseball when in one particular league the set of teams seems sort of set until that streak sort of happens.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and yeah, I mean, it does feel like I don't know. This it does feel like right now the six best teams in the National League are the ones that are in the playoffs, and they will likely be the ones, in the picture when it's all said and done. Between the Phillies, the Mets, the Brewers, the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Padres. It's a fun field, but I definitely would like some more competition in September, and the Reds are, were really the only source of that, but now they're a little bit more out of the picture.
Yeah, yeah.
I do want to go a little more deep into some of the numbers. So before this ban, the Reds were pulling 30% of their fly balls as a team, which was fifth highest in baseball. And that's obviously something that I preach on this show quite a lot is you need to pull your fly balls, and they were doing that, and that was awesome. But in this span, they're only pulling 25% of their fly balls, which is significantly lower. And their home run to fly ball ratio has gone from 14.4 this span to 11.7% in this span. Obviously, it's something that I talk a lot about. You pull your fly balls, you'll find your way into a lot more home runs, whether the ball is hit super hard or not. The Reds aren't doing that, and thus, even in their ballpark, they're not hitting a lot of home runs, and thus,
Yeah.
not scoring a lot, not a lot of offense.
Yeah, yeah, definitely that can definitely be an issue, especially a team where um there's some guys who have power, but there's not necessarily any like reliable home run hitters where you feel like any part of the park they're gonna, hit it out or anything. And yeah, partially because of this struggle here to pull fly balls. The Reds have the seventh worst ISO in baseball in this span. Which is basic, ISO is slugging percentage minus batting average. So it's basically, how much of your offense is coming from power. They're seventh, they have the seventh lowest number with that. They also have the sixth lowest slugging as a team, even as a team who plays half their games in Great American. Um, so yeah, that is a bad sign. But yeah, to give some hope to any team, any fan of a team who maybe thinks they're a bit out of it. On September 1st of 2024, the
Tigers.
Tigers were
Yep.
5 games back of the Twins and Royals for the second and third wild card spots. They had a 7% chance of making the playoffs. The Twins had a 91.7% chance to make the playoffs. And obviously the Twins didn't, the Tigers
What a
did.
collapse that was.
Yeah, so
Unbelievable.
you do need a combination of things to go for you to make up um that 4 game those 4 games of ground. But crazier things have happened, and I especially speak of that as someone who watched the Red Sox in 2011. You wouldn't even have to do something that magnificent in order
Yeah.
to make the playoffs. But as a fan, it almost seems like, at least until a run happens, we're sort of in purgatory with the National League.
It is annoying, and I can't imagine how Reds fans feel that every time they find themselves right there, they immediately fall out of it. 2023, the thing that comes to my mind the most is the uh that game against the Pirates where they blew like a 9-0 lead or something like that, or like a 9-run lead or whatever it was. 2021, this wasn't even on them, but I just remember the Cardinals going on a 17-game win streak late in the season. This was pre-third wild card. But yeah, it just every time with this team, it sucks. I don't know. I mean, at this point, it feels like they might not even like make it to like pure optimism in September.
Right. Yeah. It's tough. You know, like it's and you have to there has to be some blame shifted on like the front office or ownership of just not allowing many big moves to happen because, obviously they're with how close they've gotten, they're, one or two pieces away
Always, they're
from
always one or two pieces away.
one or two paces away, having them around the whole season of, being a serious playoff contender. I get why they didn't go for it in 2023. They overperformed by like 15 or 20 games probably. But this
Hmm.
year, they won 77 games last year. They scored more runs than they allowed last year also. Um, they could have tried something out and, just unfortunately a common thing in baseball. we just don't expect them to. So it wasn't even that big of a deal that they didn't. It's just, you know, it's just when you look at the Mets and you look at the Reds, the differences are just kind of those pieces that the Mets get that the Reds don't.
Something that I would love to do this year, and this is something that I have to do off camera. I would love to know like what percent of the Reds' total F4 from this year has been accumulated by pre-arb players, because that is much of their team at this point, between Friedel, between Steer, McLean, Ellie De La Cruz, Noelvi Marte, who's been good, this year. And then outside of it, it's like it's Green, who's been hurt for much of the year. It's, Brian Hayes, who just got there. Nick Martinez had a good couple of months there. Like Singer's been all right this year, Lux has been all right. Lodolo has been solid, but like it is largely pre-arb players, and I would love to know like what percent of their F4 is pre-arb, and I wonder if that where that ranks in the league, and where it's especially where it would rank among competitive teams. And yeah, like so that's a team where you gotta have like a guy where you make a move that leads those kinds of guys. And I don't know, like it doesn't. I mean, Austin Hayes has been all right, but that's not like the big veteran leader that you'd want on a playoff team.
Yeah, I also didn't realize how little money the Reds have committed to their team right now. Their
It's very little.
their highest guaranteed contract for 2026 is Hunter Green at $8.33 million.
Yeah,
And if it's not that, it's a $12 million mutual option for Austin Hayes.
and those are like almost never taken.
Yeah, guys are getting paid 40, 50 million a year now, and the Reds' highest paid guy is not even 1/3 of that. So I
Yeah.
wonder what's going on with ownership there. I think if it's not this year, the time should come soon because they've given out contracts before. I
How
mean,
often?
they've
Yeah. Oh, you
signed.
mean 3 years to Jamer Candelario?
Yeah, but yeah, for sure. But I forget how much they signed Castellanos for, but it was a
It
solid
was
deal.
88 million or 44 million, I think.
Okay.
I think they gave Castellanos 44 million, and they also gave Moustakas 88 the same offseason.
Right. Yeah,
Let me
that
go back.
that
Let me go to 2020 real quick. Yep.
that
Okay. Castellanos was 464. Moustakas was also 464. They gave him the same contract.
yeah, that offseason going into 2020,
Yeah,
they kind
that
of
was the
they
one.
kind of went for it. They got some like
And that was
solid
and that was while
hands.
and that was while they still had 100 million still owed to Joey Votto too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like Like it's not like they were like, oh, we have so much, that we have so much available. No, it was literally we are paying at the time 37-year-old Joey Votto another $100 million. Let's get two more players that combine for 128 million.
Yeah.
They
That's
also had
cool.
30 million committed to Sonny Gray at this time, 66 million to in a pre-arb contract at Eugenio Suarez. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I think yeah, like just if the Reds owner is out there listening to Above Replacement Radio, like
Bob Castellini.
yeah, give it a shot this off season.
I
I think
still often think about the fact that that Cam Delario contract happened, and then Matt Chapman signed for less in the same offseason, and they didn't even need a third baseman to begin with,
yeah, it was
and
weird.
they could have
They
just had Matt Chapman.
they did not need an infielder, yet they signed
No,
one.
yet they
Strange.
signed one, and then a better one signed for less.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, any more thoughts on this situation?
No, let's talk. Let's go. Last week we did some reflecting on some of our preseason stuff, and I think we're gonna do some more of that this week.
That's correct. Yeah, so yeah, if you haven't listened to a division preview episode, the what we do, we give a player to watch, usually an under the radar player, not anyone that's going to see our top 50s, 99% of the time. Someone maybe on the younger side, oftentimes as well. We give a player to watch. We reviewed those last week. So if you're curious to see how our players to watch are going so far, feel free to check out episode 373. But at the end, we also ask a question to each other we give answers, and for most of the division previews, we've kind of forgotten about it and just let it go. But Daniel
Last year.
last year dug them all out, gave a nice evaluation to how we did. We did fairly. I think we got more right than we got wrong, each of us.
Yes.
And then obviously there's going to be some nullified answers. Like if you ask, if a pitcher, for example, is going to get Cy Young votes and they only pitched 60 innings that year, I don't know if you really count that as wrong. But anyway, so yeah, this
Also,
this
before we
episode
get to
we
this,
are this
yeah.
episode we are reviewing our questions and the answers.
So I'm just gonna be upfront. I don't know how I did, Chris. I'll just say right now, this is not your strongest work, unfortunately.
I I
Um,
think I think you did better than me because I see some good answers. I mean, it's a
yeah,
mix, obviously, but I think
yeah,
you had some good ones here.
yeah. Where do we want to start?
Um, so yeah, we could do AL East to West,
All right.
and then NL East to West.
Yeah, and we'll go in the order that we asked about all the teams.
Yeah, that sounds good. So that leaves us with
To the Toronto Blue Jays.
the Toronto Blue Jays. What was the question you had for me?
So the question I had for you, and this one, there's not really a great answer that you could have put, but there is a right one. Which of the three members from the Yusei Kikuchi trade that was, at the 2024 deadline will make the biggest impact on this year? The three players in question were Will Wagner, Jake Bloss, and Joey Loperfido. I believe Will Wagner was your player to watch, so naturally you put him. So Will Wagner has negative 0.2 F4 this year, and he is no longer in the Blue Jays organization. Jake Bloss has had UCL surgery this year, but before that, he put up a 6.46 ERA and a 4.78 FIP in 23 and a third AAA innings. And Joey Loperfido, although he hasn't played a lot, has played fairly well. He has a 159 weighted runs created plus this year and 0.7 F4. So the correct answer for this one at this moment is Joey Loperfido, and it will almost certainly stay that way, given that Wagner is no longer a Blue Jay and Bloss is out for the season. But none of them have made a particularly large impact this year to begin with. But there is a correct answer here. How about your question for me?
My question was, a classic Gianta one. It's the context was Kevin Gausman had a 21% strikeout rate in 2023. Or wait, no, he had a 31% strikeout rate in 2023 and 21% strikeout rate in 2024. Will he have over or under a 26% strikeout rate in 2025? You said under. You specifically pointed out his splitter whiff rates as why you said under. And at the current moment, Kevin Gausman is under at 24.3%. So it's looking correct.
He could get there though.
He could get there, but the odds of you getting it right are pretty high at this point.
Yeah.
And I guess onto the Rays.
Well, we'll snake it. What was your question for me?
My question was depth charts has Yandy Diaz projected for 3.2 F4 and Junior Caminero for 3.3. Who will
Okay.
have more F4 this year?
Man, I sure hope I said Caminero.
You did say Junior
Oh,
Caminero.
yes.
Caminero has 3.5 F4. Diaz has 1.7. So that's two correct for you.
All right.
What was my Rays answer?
So my raised question, it was who will take the bigger step forward? This one is a little more subjective, but I think there is an objectively correct answer between Taj Bradley and Ryan Pepio. You said Taj Bradley, who, like Will Wagner, is no longer in the organization. So far you're 0 for 2 on even just the players you pick staying in their respective organizations throughout the year. Bradley, so far to this year, between the Rays and the Twins, has a 4.82 ERA and a 4.33 FIP, while Pepio, I wouldn't say he's taken a step forward because his peripherals aren't particularly good. But he does have a 3.70 ERA to go along with a 4.44 FIP. So unfortunately, that is, I'm going to give that one to Pepio, even if the peripherals aren't great, because I think it is still closer to a step forward than we've seen from Bradley this year.
Yeah, right. And
Now onto the Red Sox.
On to the Red
This
Sox.
one's all right. Well, my question was who will have the higher B war between Tanner Houck and Brian Bayo? And
Um,
you put Tanner Houck as your answer.
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, what was your now? Tanner Houck has minus 1.6 B war and Bayo is 2.5. So you're off by 2.9.
Yeah, that is that's a lot, or I think more than that. Three, he has negative 0.6 to
Negative 1 point, well, negative, sorry, negative 1.4 to 2.6.
so I'm off by 4.
Yeah. Yep, I don't know how to do math, but yes.
I'm off by 4 B war.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, all right. Um, so
And
yeah,
your Red Sox question?
uh, my question was which rookie will have the most important role at the end of the season? You said Roman Anthony.
I
That's
mean, that one was pretty easy.
that's the correct answer.
Yeah.
Roman Anthony is the
See, if I picked someone else, I'd look like a real asshole.
yeah. Roman Anthony is, for context, is the everyday leadoff hitter for the Red Sox right now, and also has a 142 OPS plus.
I said Carlos Narvaez. That would have looked amazing for a couple months.
Yeah, true. I mean, at the
Um,
beginning of the season, it was looking like it could be Christian Campbell,
Campbell, yeah,
but he's in AAA now. Um, but yeah, good work on there. So you're 3 for 3 on this.
yeah.
Um, and then with the Orioles, I asked who will hit more home runs. It was about their corner outfielders,
Mhm.
Tyler O'Neill or Colton Cowser. And while neither of them have really had exceptional seasons, Colton Cowser does have more home runs than Tyler O'Neill. He has 12. O'Neill has
Did I say Kaiser?
yes, you did say
Okay,
Colton Cowser. My bad.
cool.
Did not mention that. But you had Colton Cowser. Colton Cowser has 12. Tyler O'Neill has 8 in, I believe, 43 games played.
Is he
Um,
out for the year?
Tyler O'Neill, I don't know.
So I know he hasn't played in a while. Let me check where he's at. Resumed baseball activities Monday, and that was on reported on the 18th of August. So I don't know. Who knows? My Orioles question for you. This is one that will probably be nullified at the end of the year because neither of these things have really happened. But I said, what will this team be more impacted by? An Adley Rutschman resurgence or a Grayson Rodriguez breakout? Really, neither of those things have happened. Adley Rutschman went on the IL for the rest of the season, and before that, he put up a 93 weighted runs created plus. Most certainly not a resurgence. Grayson Rodriguez has not pitched this entire year. You picked Gray Rod. I won't give you a wrong answer for this one, but I mean, yeah, this like not literally neither of these things have happened in any capacity.
Yeah, exactly.
So that one will be voided at the end of the year.
Yeah, I would hope so. On
On to
to
the
the
Yankees,
Yankees.
finishing up the AL East. My Yankees question, this is a really funny one. Uh, and like you're probably gonna be wrong, but it is a bit unfair. My question was who will log the most games at third base this season? You said Oswald Peraza, who once again is no longer in the organization, but at this moment he does indeed lead the Yankees in appearances at third base. He's at 39. However, in third place is Ryan McMahon, who I think will probably pass 39 by the end of the year. He's at 30.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I have thought about this question before and what happened there. And yeah, I'm kind of PO'd that
I almost might void that one. Like if it's a guy that wasn't in the organization before the season, and the guy you got was second despite not being on the team after the deadline and also not really being a large part of the roster at all. Like that's pretty good.
yeah, right. It's
You could have said Jazz, you could have said like Oswaldo Cabrera, and
right.
you know,
Yeah, it is.
I might void that one if it goes McMahon and then Peraza, I will probably void it.
It's like when you
But if
play
like Jazz overtakes him, then I won't.
it's like when you play a video game on the hardest level and you're doing everything right, and then some, BS that the game clearly.
It's like when you're playing MLB The Show against the computers and like the challenges, and
Mhm.
like you hit like every rocket you hit, just somehow like the greatest defensive play you've ever seen is made every single time.
Right. Yeah,
It's like, well, I'm
exactly.
not doing anything wrong here, and that play would not be made in real life.
100%. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, this one likely to be nullified, but I guess technically you are correct in this one. Uh, and mind you, this episode, the AL East preview was February 23rd. But my question was, who will have the lower ERA, Garrett Cole or Max Fried?
I said Cole.
You said Garrett Cole, and he currently has a 0.00
That's true.
ERA.
Great. Once again, a great answer.
Max Fried is at 306. So Cole is just lapping Max Fried.
Yeah,
Even
I
though
mean,
Max Fried's having a very
geez.
good year, Cole's ERA is much lower.
It would be
Yeah,
very funny if he made a miraculous comeback in game 162 and got shelled.
or even just like an average. He gave up 2 earned runs in 4 innings and has a
Yeah.
4.5.
Yeah, I mean that's that one you gotta nullify for sure.
Yeah, that is null. As Garrett Cole has not pitched a single inning this year. But now we go to the AL Central with the White Sox. Um, My question for you was Luis Robert had an 857 OPS in 2023 and a 657 OPS in 2024. Will he have over or under a 757 OPS in 2025? You said over. He is at 661
Why did I say
this
over?
year. Um, I mean it's fair. I mean that Luis Robert has shown potential his whole career. He's shown flashes of greatness, but unfortunately, he's kind of kept along with his 2024 pace for 2025.
Yeah. My White Sox question was over or under, will this team finish 26 and a half games behind the fourth place team in the AL Central? You took the over, and then the Twins decided to crash and burn. The White Sox are currently 13 and a half games back of the Twins, so they would have to double that in the next month.
Yeah,
Which and not only that, but the Royals and Tigers and Guardians would also have to win a lot too,
right.
because
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just the fourth place team. So yeah, that one will probably be a loss. Um, and yeah, White Sox not our best showing. For the
Nope.
Twins, I need to figure out. What did you have something else to say for the White Sox?
Oh, nope, nope.
Okay. I got to figure out what I want to do with this Twins question. I might void it. I have no idea. So my question was, which number will be higher, Byron Buxton's barrel rate or Emmanuel Rodriguez's walk rate? I asked this question under the guise that Emmanuel Rodriguez would get playing time in the majors this year. He played 7 AAA games last year. I figured he would get like a summer call up. It didn't happen. Right now, Buxton has a 17.3% barrel rate, which you'd probably feel optimistic that that Rodriguez's walk rate is lower than that. Except it's not even close. It's 19.4% in AAA. Uh, Obviously, I think he would need to like register a plate appearance in the major leagues. Like if he goes 1 for 5 in terms of walking, I will count it. But if he doesn't appear in the majors, I think I have to avoid this one.
Yeah, that might be a good call.
Yeah,
Um, Speaking of voiding questions, my question for the Twins was, will Pablo Lopez receive Cy Young votes?
I
You
said
said yes.
yes. I said I would love. Yeah,
You said yes. He does have a 2.82 ERA and 3.02 FIP, but injuries have limited him to 60 and two-thirds innings pitched. Like over a full season with those rate numbers, he would get Cy Young votes. So it's hard to say
uh,
that this is a wrong answer. I think you were right to think that. It's just he has had an injury-riddled season, and he's not even someone with a history of injuries. So it's not even, it would have been hard to predict that too.
I'm a
So
Pablo Lopez guy, man. I wish.
yeah, no, and he had a great 11 starts. It's just, yeah, he
Yeah,
got injured. Um, On to the Tigers. This one is kind of a close one, but it seems you're on the correct side. My question was, Jack Flaherty had a 32.0% strikeout rate in Detroit and 26.1% in Los Angeles. Will he have over or under a 29.05% strikeout rate? You said under, and he currently is under at 28.1%.
oh wow, that one's very close.
Yeah,
He's been pitching better as of late too.
if it goes up 1 percentage point, it will go over. But at the current moment, you are correct in saying that he would get under a 29.05% strikeout rate. What is your Tigers question?
Yeah, this one is also a wash. Will Colt Keith log over or under 80 and a half games at first base? He's currently at 18. This was when they moved Torkelson off for. I asked this when they moved Torkelson off first base, and then they said just kidding, and then he had a really good April, so they kept him there. You took the over,
Yeah,
and
yikes.
it's mathematically impossible for that to hit, even if they play the maximum number of playoff games, and we count that.
I was a big Torkelson denier heading into this year,
Yeah.
but
To be
yeah,
fair, like he hasn't been that great since April.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
April definitely made his entire season,
Um, and
but he had an awesome April, and there's no denying that.
and yeah, I guess Colt Keith has played. I guess he's just played at different areas. 109 OPS plus for the guy.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, where's he played most? Been a DH the most out of anything. And then second base 26 games, third base 26 games, first base 18 games. So on to the Royals.
Yeah. Is it my turn to ask? Or is it yours? I
Yes.
forget. Okay, it's mine. All right. Last year in 2024, the Royals had three starters that made 32 plus starts and all maintained an ERA plus above 110. So my question was over or under, will they have over or under 2.5 starters to make at least 30 starts and maintain an ERA plus above 105? Of course, I was referring to Cole Reagan, Seth Lugo, and Michael Waka. You took the under, which turned out to be the wise decision. They only have two starters that have made 22 plus starts this season. So not only do we have to work, we don't even have to worry about the ERA plus because they're not going to have, three guys make 30 starts. That's just not going to happen.
Right. Yeah, they're not gonna have.
Obviously, a Reagan's injury kind of derailed them quite a bit. Um, Chris Bubich was looking good for a while, but then he got hurt for the year. It's largely been Michael Lorenzen, who is the third starter on this list, but behind Michael Waka and Seth Lugo.
Right, right. I asked a very similar question. My question was last year the Royals had four qualifying pitchers with an ERA plus above 110. How many will they have this year? You said three.
Oh, that's
At
not
the
good.
current moment, they have one,
Yeah.
with Michael Waka having a 120 ERA plus in 148 and two-thirds innings pitched, and they only have one other qualifying starter, with that being Seth Lugo, who has a below average ERA plus right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that we both asked Royals starting pitching questions. On to the Guardians. I asked, who will have a higher OPS, Carlos Santana or Kyle Manzardo?
I definitely put Santana.
Yeah, you said
I
Carlos
totally said I
Santana.
dude, I put him eighth on my first base list this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how it's going at the current moment, including today, Manzardo has a 774 OPS. Santana is at 650. Um, so maybe Santana revives it with the Cubs because he did just sign with the Cubs. But if not, then that's where that's at. What was
Yeah.
your Guardians question?
My Guardians question also involved Carlos Santana, him and one other person. In 2024, Stephen Kwan hit 14 home runs and Carlos Santana had 14 outs above average. So, will there be more Kwan home runs or Santana outs above average? Stephen Kwan currently has 10 home runs. Carlos Santana currently has 7 OAA. But more importantly, he was just placed on waivers and picked up by the Cubs. So, in spirit of the question, I'm going to keep it at 7 and not count whatever OAA he puts up with the Cubs. Um, so yeah, you won this one. It's confirmed.
Nice. Yeah, because
Stephen Kwan's home runs can't, and Santana's OAA can't go up in the spirit of this question unless even if he gets to 11 with the Cubs and Kwan goes homerless the rest of the year. I'm only counting what they do with the Guardians.
all right. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
So
Um,
now we move on to the American League West. This is kind of a funny one, just because this is another one where it's like there's a right answer, but none of them are really right. Which former Chicago star will produce a higher FWAR? Kyle Hendricks or Tim Anderson, if you remember that he was on the Angels this year.
yeah,
Um, you picked Kyle Hendricks, and you would be right. He is at 1.3. Tim Anderson ended the year at 0.1.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so good job.
Common common Kyle Hendricks W.
Yeah,
Of course, big big Kyle Hendricks guy.
yeah.
Um, so my Angels question, it coming out of my mouth, it's definitely seemed
I remember
underrated.
this question.
Yeah, I said, what will there be more of? Nolan Schanuel walks or Mike Trout games played? You said Mike Trout games played, and
Damn
luckily
right.
that's turned out correct.
Yep. Yep.
And I said I was rooting for the Mike Trout games played, and it's
That's
turned out.
fair. Unless
He
Nolan Schanuel puts together like a 130 walk season.
yeah,
Trout
Trout
did
has
have a brief IL stint.
Trout has played 106 games. Seanwell has walked 56 times.
Yeah,
So
so it's not particularly close.
Seanwell would have to be 04 Barry Bonds, and Mike Trout would have to,
To stop playing immediately.
yeah, exactly, in order for that to change.
And even then
Um,
it would be close.
right, right.
So we
Um,
nailed our Angels questions.
yes, we did. On to the athletics. My question, for context was last year, 49.7% of Mason Miller's total pitches were 100 plus mile per hour fastballs. Will he reach 50% this year? And you said no. And at the current moment, he is not at 50%. Uh, he's at 44.8%. So
Okay,
that
yeah.
you are in line to be correct on
Yeah.
the Mason Miller question.
In the spirit of the question, do you know what the number was specifically just with the A's? It
Um,
definitely wasn't 50% because then it would have to be like very low since the trade, and it's not.
yeah, I'm not sure, but
So
as you reveal these next couple ones, I can get that information.
yeah. My A's question, this was Sacramento related. Which hitter will have the highest TOPS plus at home, minimum 200 home plate appearances? That means, the highest OPS relative to their road OPS. You said JJ Bleday. As of right now, the correct answer is Lawrence Butler, who has among all players with 150 plus home plate appearances, I set that number there because I don't think anyone's hit 200 yet, but they will. Uh, his TOPS plus is at 124. JJ Bleday currently is at 97 in 145 home plate appearances. So he's actually better on the road as of right now.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. Um, on to the Rangers.
Rangers. My question, another one that's we already know the answer. Will Jacob DeGrom pitch over or under 114 and a half innings? You took the over, and it's comfortably hit. I didn't see how many innings he pitched today, but going into today, he was at 145 and a third. So he got this like a month ago.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm getting the information on Mason Miller,
Mm-hmm.
compiling the data. With the Athletics, 43.4% of his pitches
Yeah.
were 100 plus mile per hour fastball. So comfortably, he did not reach 50% this year, and you were correct on that. Um, my Rangers question, I definitely should have specified but I asked who will have more WAR, and I didn't specify B WAR or F WAR. Who will have more WAR, Adolis Garcia or Evan Carter? You said Evan Carter. Um,
Why did
Evan
I say
Carter,
that?
yeah,
Oh, because Adolis had, you know why? It's because Adolis had massive defensive regression in 2024.
yeah. So Evan
That's why I
Carter
said that.
is at 1.8 B WAR, and Garcia is at 2.9 B WAR, but yet Carter has 1.4 F WAR, and Garcia only has 1.1 F WAR. So
What the
I
why is
guess
there such a
defensive runs
massive
saved. I
Yes,
guess
it's defense, but
I guess
yeah,
defensive runs saved really likes Adolis Garcia, and outs above average doesn't. So not sure about that, but I guess if we were to give a tiebreaker, um, it would probably be F War. Um,
yeah,
but so we could call you correct in that, but I should have specified if we're gonna keep track of these. Um, but I think out of my lack of specification, I could give you the benefit of the doubt on that. Um, and now with the Mariners, my question was, who will have a higher OPS, Cal Raleigh or Julio Rodriguez? You said Julio Rodriguez. Um, and
Oh, that is awful. That is so bad.
that's a tough miss.
Why did I say that?
I mean,
I had Cal Raleigh higher in my top 50.
yeah, but Raleigh had better defense.
Uh,
I don't even know
yeah,
if
Julio has had a major defensive resurgence this year.
I don't even know if Julio. I don't even know if Raleigh had a higher OPS than Julio last year.
No, he didn't. But
Yeah,
that's just such a brutal miss.
it's a very valid question, but it looks way worse now considering that Raleigh, it's not even September and Raleigh has already hit 50 home runs. Raleigh is at a 932 OPS. Rodriguez is at a 788. Um, yeah, who knew that Cal Raleigh would have, the best catcher season since Salvi Perez.
Since
But
Salvador Perez.
since
Yeah,
Salvador
I know
Perez.
he already passed him in home runs, but we can't be so sure that it's better yet.
Yeah.
My Mariners question. In 2024, Luis Castillo, Bryce Miller, and Brian Wu all had four-seam fastballs with a run value per 100 between 1.2 and 1.4. So I asked, between the three of them, whose four-seamer will produce the highest run value per 100? Brian Wu's four-seamer has the highest run value of all fastballs in baseball, and along with it, a 1.8 RV 100. Castillo's at 0.7. Miller's at minus 2.2. Would you like to guess which one you said?
I said Bryce Miller.
You said Bryce Miller.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is horrid.
Yeah.
A really bad one, especially with the year Brian Wu's having.
Yeah.
So we both
Yeah.
kind of flopped on Mariners.
We flopped so bad on Mariners. The Astros, this might be the biggest upset answer of all time. My question was, will Isaac Paredes have over or under a 129.5 TOPS plus at home? Do you want to guess what the number is?
For TOPS plus
Yeah. Yeah,
at
at
home this
home.
year. What, 95?
It's close. It is a little over that. It's 103.
Damn.
He actually, and it's not even I mean, I guess he didn't go that crazy at home. He had an 843 OPS, but he had an 815 OPS on the road.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's out for the year, so this one's final. You took the over. He will not be. He only finished 27 points away.
Yeah. Yeah. If he didn't get injured, who knows?
Yeah, he
Maybe
would
he
have had to
been
go
able to.
really crazy at home and be really bad on the road.
Yeah, right, exactly. Um, this question is a very interesting one. My question was, who will have a lower FIP, Framber Valdez or Hunter Brown?
Oh, that's a good question.
Your answer was Hunter Brown, and
Wow.
on Fangraphs live stats, Hunter Brown is at a 302 FIP, Valdez is at a 306 FIP.
Wow, this one is not determined at this point.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is razor close.
I'm surprised I said Brown. Because my initial thought was, I probably would have said Valdez because he wasn't going to allow a lot of home runs. But Brown doesn't either. And I knew that going in because he was my player to watch in 2023, and I knew that.
You are kind of a Hunter Brown guy.
Yeah. The Marlins are the next team, and it's your question.
Marlins. Yeah, this is another one that's kind of close. My question was, who will take a bigger step this year, Connor Norby or Max Meyer? You said Max Meyer.
I think that's probably correct at this point.
I would say that's correct. Max Meyer has a 93 ERA plus with 285 batters faced. Norby has an 84 OPS plus with 283 plate appearances. So they've had
even if that Max Meyer had moments this year.
Yeah, and I'll extend on that, but similar amount of batter pitcher interactions, and Max Meyer had better park and league adjusted statistics. Also, Max Meyer had or has a 348 xFIP and 17% strikeout minus walk rate. So under the surface, you can see that Max Meyer has the potential to be a very good pitcher, and he's made strides, and he's already shown the ability to
There was
strike.
a step forward that was taken, even if the numbers might not reflect it, and even if he didn't pitch a lot because of an injury.
Yeah,
Like he looked good at times this year for sure.
I think we feel better about Max Meyer's future with the Marlins than Connor Norby's.
I'm
So
just
I think,
glad you didn't ask Max Meyer or Kyle Stowers.
yeah,
That would have been another big miss. My question to you was who will lead this team in plate appearances? You said Xavier Edwards, and that one looks very good right now. He has 5 for 39. That is the most on the team. No one else has more than 490. So he is 49 plate appearances ahead of the next closest person. So as long as he keeps leading off for this team, which he almost certainly will, you got this one.
great, awesome.
Yeah, nice job. On to the Nationals. My question for you was which number will be higher? Mackenzie Gore's four-seam fastball usage rate, which was 55.3% last year, or Jacob Young's ground ball rate, which was 56.5% last year. Mackenzie Gore actually mixed in some of his secondaries this year. He just went on the IL, so this could be a little more finalized, but his four-seam fastball rate is currently at 49.3%. Jacob Young rose his ground ball rate to 58.4%, and you took Jacob Young. So this one looks like you will probably get it as
Yeah,
well.
a nice curly W for me. I like
Yeah.
that. So my Nationals question was what is more likely? Mackenzie Gore gets Cy Young votes or James Wood gets MVP votes?
Wow, this is a scenario where both might happen.
Yeah, yeah.
That that would be crazy.
You said James Wood gets MVP votes. I think the answer right now is it's more likely that James Wood gets MVP
I
votes.
agree. I think if both get them, you gotta go by who gets more vote shares,
Yeah, I agree.
right?
Um, I don't see Gore getting Cy Young vote. Like his ERA is a bit
I could
high.
like I mean like it doesn't have to be top like young votes. Like someone puts him number 5, like I could see that.
Possibly, possibly. Um, yeah, James Wood has a 134 OPS plus. Gore has a 100 ERA plus. I think would have a more likely avenue. But yeah, if
I
there's
agree, but I also think it's very possible like Gore just because of the strikeouts. Like I know that he's been very bad and is now injured for the last month, but like all it takes is one Washington writer to put him number 5 and it counts.
yeah, oh, he's in the IL right now. Oh,
Yes,
damn,
he just went down
that's unfortunate. Um,
yesterday.
so yeah, that's the Nationals question. On to the
New York
Mets,
Mets.
the New York Mets. This was another decent line. But the question was who will have more home runs, Pete Alonso or Juan Soto? You said Juan Soto, and Juan Soto has 35 home runs. Pete Alonso has 31. So at the current moment, you are correct.
Nice.
Nice.
Very good. My question to you, this one could be interesting. I hope it becomes interesting. Will Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto combine for over or under 13.5 F WAR? You pick the over. Currently they're at 9.4 combined. So they
Hmm.
would have to each get 2 F WAR over the next month, which is probably not likely, but it could become a very fun chase.
Yeah, for personal reasons, I hope that happens.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah, well, at least one of them.
at least for one of them. I mean, Team Luke isn't too far behind, but he's not
Not
the most
a
close
direct
either.
threat right now.
Yeah, right.
There's only
Um,
one player that's a direct threat in this very moment, and that's Team Daniel.
that's correct. Yeah. Uh,
On to the Atlanta Braves. Man, this question's kind of funny. Who will have the highest F4 increase over 2024? Will it be Austin Riley, Matt Olson, or Michael Harris II? You said Austin Riley, who has dropped by zero point 0.8 in F4. Michael Harris has dropped by 0.9, and Matt Olson has gone up by 0.8. So Matt Olson is almost certainly going to be the correct answer. But man, I was not expecting two of those three would just have complete
yeah, yeah. It was the year of like expecting bounce backs um
the Braves, and it just didn't
from
happen.
Braves players, and almost none of them happened.
It was funny. They won like 88 games last year, were like just scraped into the playoffs. And we were like, this is like basically the Braves floor. Like all their guys got injured. Like it just, it just wasn't a great year, but they still made the playoffs. And then this year they're like, no, we're gonna win 70 games actually.
Yeah, this is like the 2023 White Sox.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's
after,
worse. The 2020. Oh, actually, it's not. I was thinking of the 2022 White Sox.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
You're right.
2023 White Sox, it was the year after they went 81 and 81.
And they
It was like
lost 62 and 100 or something like that.
there's like so many things had to go wrong for them to be 81 and 81. Well, how about what if all the other things also went wrong? How about
Yeah. Yeah,
um
exactly.
my question was kind of a similar ilk. I asked who will get the closest to 2023 form, Ozzy Albies or Michael Harris the second? You said Michael
I
Harris the
mean,
second.
I mean, Michael Harris II is pretty much at 2023 form. Bad first half, great second half.
I mean, that is if you want to like, yeah, it takes like the actual statistics out of it and like
Yeah.
narrative wise, it does make a lot of sense.
Who did I say?
You said Michael Harris the
I
second.
yeah.
The
I
at the
think that kind of counts. I mean, the numbers won't be there, but
Right. I just found it funny, the numbers though. I'll just reference them because they are funny. Uh or at least heading into Sunday, Michael Harris the second had an 84 weighted runs created plus and 1.1 F4. Albies was at an 83 weighted runs created plus and 0.9 F4. So 1 point of weighted runs created plus apart and 2 decimals of wins above replacement apart. So they're having like the same exact year.
yeah,
But Michael Harris the second, I guess you could say is closest to 2023 form at the current moment.
yeah.
Um,
He's definitely closer than Albies.
yeah.
Because
Uh,
Albies was better that year, was he not? Like
I think
overall.
he might have had 4.2 F4 and Harris had 4.0.
Okay. All right. Well then
Um,
never mind.
Albies Albies at 4.1 in 2023. Harris the second, it can come up for me. Harris the second had 3.9. So he was ahead of him a little bit, Albies was. So on to
The
the
Philadelphia Phillies.
Phillies. Um,
You're first.
my question was Aaron Nola and Kyle Schwarber both had 197 strikeouts last year. Who will have more this year? You said Kyle Schwarber, and at the current moment, Schwarber has 158 and Nola has 66.
Yeah. See, this is one where if I said Nola, it would have been voided.
Yeah, I agree.
But because I said Schwarber, it's like, no, you nailed that, man. Great job.
Yeah, you
Um,
saw that like 3 month IL stint coming.
yeah, exactly. For a guy that's been incredibly healthy over the last
Yeah.
like 5 years. My Phillies question involves two veterans that are both having unexpected career years. Before the season, Trey Turner was 21 stolen bases away from his 300th, and Kyle Schwarber was 16 home runs away from his 300th. The question was who gets to the milestone first slash who is closer by the end of the year, forecasting for the possibility that Kyle Schwarber doesn't hit 16 home runs, which he got a quarter of the way to in one game. You did say Kyle Schwarber, which was the likely answer and the correct one. He hit his 300th home run on May 19th. Turner stole his 300th base on July 2nd.
Mm-hmm. All right, there we go. There we go.
Yes. On to the other Pennsylvania team, although a different division, the Pittsburgh Pirates. My question involved Paul Skeens, naturally. Very simple. Uh, my question was, will Paul Skeens pitch over or under 179 and a half innings? He is currently at 167, so he is 12 away from hitting the over, which you will need him to not do because you picked the under.
Yeah, I had little faith that the Pirates would stretch him like this. Not that it's necessarily a big stretch, but like,
No.
any semblance of injury when you're a last place team in the NL Central, you probably want to sideline him. But no, luckily he stayed healthy and yeah, he's just kept chugging along, probably gonna win Cy Young. So good for him. Um, finally something going for him. Um,
Yeah.
but my Pirates question was last year, O'Neal Cruz had a 2020 season. Will he get 25-25 this year? You said yes. At the current moment, he has 19 home runs and 36 stolen bases. He's on
Okay, he needs
pace.
to have a hot September.
Yeah, he's on pace for 22 homers, but yeah, it's definitely in the cards, but it's not on pace to happen.
Definitely not likely.
Definitely not likely, but not a wash at this point,
Cool.
which is good. On to
The
the
Reds.
Reds. My question was, who will have a better bounce back season, Christian Encarnacion Strand or Noelvi Marte? You said Christian Encarnacion Strand. Um, at the current moment, Marte.
Yeah, no.
At the current moment, CES has a 62 OPS plus and negative 0.6 F4. Marte has a 127 OPS plus and 1.6 F4. So it's definitely looking like Marte
Yeah, I don't know if that
in
one's
that one.
gonna that one's that's my Hawk versus Bayo.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Reds question is kind of funny just because both of these numbers have or will turn out to be relatively underwhelming, but it was will there be more O'Neal Cruz stolen bases or Taylor Rogers strikeouts? O'Neal Cruz stole 67 bases last year. Taylor Rogers struck out 64 batters. Taylor Rogers struck out 34 batters for the Reds before being traded at the deadline. O'Neal Cruz is currently at 33 steals, so he needs just two more for your prediction to be correct because you did pick Ellie De La Cruz. Um, this would have been a lot more fun if he didn't, but yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Here. Yep. Um, so
Yeah. So that's that. As for the St. Louis Cardinals, my question was who will lead this team in weighted runs created plus minimum 350 plate appearances? Your answer was Wilson Contreras, who currently leads all players with at that PA threshold with a 121 weighted runs created plus. However, Ivan Herrera is currently at 127 in 343 plate appearances, so he will be reaching that mark, and it's going to become close. So they are only 6 points apart. Either one could win it. Could be interesting.
something to watch for in St. Louis. That's what they've been looking for.
Yeah,
Gonna watch this race. It's the hottest thing since the
the home
Goldschmidt
run chase.
the,
Oh,
the Goldschmidt 880 OPS
yeah.
came down
What an
to
awesome thing that was.
came down to the last at bat. Um,
Twice, or not twice, but it was like very close the next year too.
yeah, right, right. I
Yeah,
mean,
and then he
probably
had to be lame and win MVP.
he was at 879 one year, so it had to have come down to the last at bat in that
And then
one.
he doubled. Yeah, you took the under. Oh
Well,
no, your take was no, your take was uh
I can tell you my take. My
yeah,
take
you
was
got it.
uh it if Paul Goldschmidt has over an 880 OPS, they will win the division. If it's under, they will lose the division. And the Cardinals in 2020, like on the final game of the year, they were like 3 games out, so obviously they could not win the division. But Paul Goldschmidt was like in the middle of it. He was, he probably entered the game at like an 878 OPS. Actually, I could go get the actual numbers
It came
on.
out of the last at bat.
Yeah, it came down to the last at bat, and he was at like 879, and then he hit
Double
a double. It
down
was
the right
off the
field line.
wall. Yep, down the right field line.
I
It could have
remember.
been
I
a long
remember.
single, I forget.
No, it was a double. I remember watching it live.
Yeah, 2020. 2020, I mean he slumped, dang, he slumped before and it looked like my take was going to be correct. Oh, he came in with an 871 OPS that
And then
day.
he had a huge game.
And then he went 3 for 4. No, it was a single. I'm seeing
Okay, it was a single.
it was a
But that
long
got him to what,
single.
880? Did it get him to 881?
883.
83,
And then
okay.
the next season,
It
the
was
next
a question.
the next season it was a question, and he ended up at 879 in 2021. So
And they didn't win the division, so that was why.
correct, yeah. That see, you're never wrong just early.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And you would
Uh,
have been right twice if he didn't hit a double. Or if it's single, sorry.
yeah, and then yeah, he just won MVP. And I'm convinced that if he didn't have as good of luck as he did in 2022, he probably would have been around 880. If he had like average luck, I think he would have been
God, that
around
would have been.
880 again. Um, but my
What's his career OPS watch? What's that at?
um
Because it's probably above 900. Right. Oh no, it's 884. Let's go. Oh, dude, we needed to end at exactly 880.
Oh my God,
That's
that's
awesome.
gold.
Schmidt.
That that is gold.
Schmidt.
Um, so my Cardinals question was which corner infielder in their 30s will have more F4 this season, independent of team they play for, because it was a question if they were going to get traded or not, but neither of them did, evidently. Um, which corner infielder in their 30s will have more F4 this season? Nolan Arenado or Wilson Contreras? You said Wilson Contreras, and
Yeah.
that is the correct answer
Yep.
for right now. Wilson Contreras has 2.3, Nolan Arenado is at 0.7. So that is that. On
And what a
to
fall off. His defense isn't even good this year.
yeah, crazy that the Red Sox were in talks of trading for him instead of
Oh,
getting
if it
Alex
wasn't
Bregman.
Bregman, it was literally going to be him. I would have lost my mind.
I I had this thought as I was reviewing this question. I was like, man, thank goodness the Red Sox got Alex Bregman
Oh
instead
my
of Nolan
God.
Arenado. Um, on to the Cubs. Uh, I asked who will rank top two for the Cubs in batting run value. You said Kyle Tucker and Seiya Suzuki. At the current
Actually, that might
moment,
be close.
yeah, at the current moment, Kyle Tucker has 25.5. Michael Bush is second at 21.0. I think
Yeah.
Suzuki is third. Um, but Suzuki is kind of close, but Michael Bush is number two in batting run value for
Yeah.
the Cubs.
Yeah. My question was buy or sell. The Cubs will lead the majors in outfielder F WAR. They were fifth last year. They were coming in with an outfield of PCA, Tucker, and Ian Happ. Currently, they rank third. They are at 12.0 and 2.3 behind the Yankees. So it takes Aaron Judge plus the Red Sox outfield to debunk this question. If I asked would they lead the National League, by the way, you said bye. So you need them to league for this question to be correct. If I said National League, you would have nailed it, but unfortunately, I did
Mm,
say majors.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm. The Milwaukee Brewers. In true Brewers fashion, the correct answer to this question just makes no sense. My question was, which starting pitcher other than Freddie Peralta will have the highest F4 on this team? Your answer was Brandon Woodruff. At this moment, the correct answer is Chad Patrick, who absolutely nobody had on their radar before this year. If you would have picked Chad Patrick before this season, no, you didn't. Woodruff is currently one win behind him, so it is still possible. He's got to have a really good month of September. Um,
Hmm.
but it's gonna be like a really, really good month of September.
Yeah, my Brewers question was last year Willie Adames led the team in home runs with 32. Who will lead the Brewers in home runs this year? You said Jackson Chorio. At the current moment, Christian Yelich leads with
Yeah,
27. Chorio is second with 18.
not gonna
Um,
happen.
so if he could just have a monster month, then that will happen. And Yelich just completely cools off. But yeah, it looks like Yelich might take that one. Now we move on to the National League West, where we start with the Rockies. My question was Ezekiel Tovar and Brenton Doyle both had exactly 3.7 F4 last year. Who will have more this year? You said Ezekiel Tovar, and Tovar has 1.2. Doyle has 0.7. So Tovar is in the lead for F4 at the current moment. So you currently have that one correct.
I asked a very similar question, but with different players, which I think make it a lot funnier. I said who is more likely to reach 3.0 F4 between Herman Marquez and Chris Bryant? Which is a really funny question, I think. Current Herman Marquez is at zero point 0.9, which is honestly more than I thought he would have had. Um, and it is above Chris Bryant, who is at, I believe, what is it, minus zero point 0.5? No, it's just regular 0.5. Um, so I guess the correct answer is Marquez, which you did put. So congrats on that. Uh, I guess he is more likely to hit three, although
Yeah.
that doesn't mean he's particularly likely at all.
Yeah. That
What a
doesn't have
funny
to
question.
didn't have to hit three. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. For to the Giants. Uh, this ended up being kind of a layup. I don't really know why I couldn't think of a better question than this, but I asked who will have a better strikeout to walk ratio between Logan Webb and Robbie Ray. Uh, you said Logan Webb, which was pretty clearly obvious. He's at 5.05. Ray is at 2.55.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been a little different if it was strikeout minus walk rate,
Yeah.
but yeah, Robbie Ray does walk those guys, walk them boys. Um, my question was, who will be the Giants' top two pitchers in F War? You said Logan Webb and Kyle Harrison.
Ah, boo,
The result is Logan. So
boo.
Logan Webb is at the number one spot with 4.4. Robbie Ray is second with 2.0. Um,
How
Kyle
can I
Harrison.
abandon my roots like that?
Kyle Harrison had zero point 0.1 before being traded.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Uh, unless Ray and like Verlander give up like 5 home runs per start for the rest of the year, I don't think that one will happen.
No.
Um, but you know, got Logan Webb, so that is good for that. Um, on to the Diamondbacks. This one I guess could change, but at the current moment it looks like
Pretty
it
locked
will be
in.
this way. Um, the question was, will the Diamondbacks have over or under a 109.5 team OPS plus? You said over. Currently it is under at 106. But could change, but I would say unlikely at this point. What is
Yeah.
your Diamondbacks question?
This one is pretty funny, I think. Who will have the better season, Eduardo Rodriguez or Jordan Montgomery? This was before he was announced to be getting Tommy John surgery. You did say Eduardo Rodriguez, who has a 5.40 ERA and 4.63 FIP in 125 innings pitched. Jordan Montgomery, as we mentioned, uh, received Tommy John surgery and did not pitch this season before he was traded to the Brewers, if you remember that,
Yeah,
for nothing.
there we go. Yeah, just a
Yeah,
couple of
he's an incoming free agent getting Tommy John. He was traded to the Brewers in a bit of a salary dump.
guys who were due for a bounce back, and
Yeah,
neither
and
happened.
so I guess Erod's the correct answer by default. This is one of those classic, like, if you put Montgomery, I would have avoided it, but you said Erod, so I'll be like, yeah, you know what? You nailed it, Chris. Good job.
Oh, hell yeah. Um,
The Padres, I wish I picked the other metric, but will there be more Fernando Tatis Jr. home runs or Luis Arias walks? You pick Tatis, who currently has 18 home runs, which is not as much as Arias' 27 walks. That's honestly way more than I
whoa,
thought. He's averaging like 4 walks a month. It's crazy.
whoa, Teddy ball game over here.
I know.
Um,
If I pick strikeouts, he's at 15 currently.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I wish I did that, but oh well.
Well, my question was, the Padres had 5 players receive MVP votes last year, with them being Jackson Merrill, Jurickson Profar, Manny Machado, Luis Ariz, and Dylan Cease. How many Padres players will receive MVP votes this year? You said 4. And just
So,
being
hmm,
subjective, being objective about it, I think Tatis and Machado, if the season ended today, would get votes,
would
and
the
Pavetta
bullpen
might.
as a whole unit,
Pavetta has
uh,
a slight. Pavetta has
Pavetta,
a puncher's chance at receiving MVP votes,
yeah, I don't think that one's gonna happen.
but if it's also tough because it's not a multiple choice or it's not an over under. So if you
Yeah.
if you were to guess 4 and you got 3, I think that's fairly. It's a fairly respectable answer.
You gotta give it a loss though.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
it's either
loss.
it's either right or it's not.
Yeah, true. Um, so on to the Dodgers, where I asked who will lead the Dodgers in innings. You said Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and it is
Yeah,
Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's ahead by, I believe, 42 innings and ahead of all current Dodgers pitchers by, I believe, 58 innings. So
nice.
I think that's
Yeah,
pretty safe.
we're ending this on a high note because my question to you was which pitcher will lead the team in F WAR, and you picked Yamamoto, which is also correct. He is at 3.6. The next closest is Clayton Kershaw at 1.8.
Insane. I did think about that.
Uh,
I did think about that Mike Petriello tweet like from last year or from last offseason. Like, man, they have a great like 8-man rotation right now, but at the deadline they're gonna be begging for like, you know, I don't even know, like Mitch Keller or something.
yeah.
Um, but
Except they're actually trading starting pitching depth
right. So yeah,
while still needing it. Yeah, so that's the
those facts.
questions. I guess we're not honestly, you're doing better than I thought. Because I remember I first did the AL East, I was like, man, this is rough. But you did pretty okay for the rest of it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice. Um, yeah. No, I think we had just like last year, I think we had a fairly even mix. So yeah, are we ready to get into players to highlight?
Let's do it.
All right, so we will start with the lows. So we end with the highs with our Sunday, August 31st, 2025 edition of Slightly Alarming Statistics. He's been barreling up the ball way less.
He's not missing bats, he's not getting the ball on the ground, and people are hitting it in the air more.
It's been so bad. He is getting a
Slightly alarming.
Yeah, so for my slightly alarming, sometimes you just gotta do it even when it hurts. I'm talking about Pico Armstrong. Yeah, he was my, not only was he my midseason MVP, but I boldly proclaimed he would win MVP. And I don't think that's going to happen now. In fact, I don't even know if he'd be like a finalist at this point. Like Trey Turner, I think has surpassed him. Uh, Others, Geraldo Perdomo might have surpassed him even. Uh, Carroll might have surpassed him. But anyway, it's just been a rough go of things for him in the second half, but especially in the month of August, where since August 2nd, is slashing 160, 212, 223 for a 435 OPS, a 19 weighted runs created plus, and only minus 0.3 FWAR. It's really not that bad for those numbers. That just shows how insane his defense is. Among the 181 qualifiers in this span, he ranks fourth lowest in average, third lowest in OBP, the lowest in slugging, lowest in OPS by 37 points, and the lowest in weighted runs created plus, and tied for 12th lowest in FWAR. So not 10 qualifier, despite all those numbers, which is insane. What I talked about with PCA, obviously, is his entire offensive prowess relies on his ability to pull the ball in the air and hit it hard enough. And he is still pulling it. His pulled air rate, I believe, is still 26% in this span. But the problem is that he's not hitting it particularly hard. 23.2% of his total batted balls in this span have been fly balls hit below the hard hit threshold. That is the 8th highest rate among the 203 hitters with at least 50 batted balls in this span. The average exit velocity on fly balls for him has gone from 94.8 miles per hour before the span to 88.4 miles per hour in this span. That is a 6.4 mile per hour swing in the opposite direction. Additionally, against four-seam fastballs and sinkers, he is hitting 036, slugging 036. He has an 073 WOBA and a minus 15.51 run value per 100, all of which rank among the lowest among the 281 pitchers with at least 25 plate appearances ending against those pitches in that span. Along with that, obviously, some of the just general flaws are still there. He's not walking. He's chasing a lot. His chase rate is actually down in the month of August, but it's down to 35%, which is still 7% above the league average. So, you take all the flaws in PCA's offense and you plug that in with an inability to, hit the ball hard enough in the air. Even if it's to the pole side to get it out of the ballpark, and this is what you get. You get a 19 weighted runs created plus. He's not hitting line drives particularly well in the span either. And yeah, this is just not the same player that we were watching for the first season. And for that reason, he is getting a slightly alarming.
Yeah. Pico Armstrong.
Slightly alarming.
Yeah, definitely one of the most valuable players in baseball in the first half of the season. Yeah, it slowed down a little bit, but as always, you gotta if you were to tell us, this guy's over 5 wins above replacement. If you were to tell us before the season started, he's going to be at over 5 wins above replacement on September 1st, you're like, wow, that is
Yeah,
pretty incredible.
exactly. What a season.
My slightly alarming. I don't think we could make that case with him. I believe he was a Cy Young finalist last season, but this, especially in the second half, has not been up to par, or not up to that standard. Talking about Seth Lugo of the Kansas City Royals. In the second half, he has a 7.51 ERA and 6.80 FIP in 44 and a third innings pitched in 9 starts. Out of 71 qualifiers in the second half heading into Sunday, he had the second worst ERA and the worst FIP. And out of 116 pitchers to throw 500 plus pitches in the second half heading into Sunday, Lugo had the 8th worst expected slugging percentage against and the 4th worst expected WOBA against. Part of this has to do with hitters making more contact against him. His strikeout rate has gone from 22% in the first half to 18% in the second half. Also, his walk rate has gone from 7.5% to 11.4%. And out of 71 qualifiers heading into Sunday, Lugo had the 4th highest walk rate. Also, his barrel rate has gone from 9.7% to 13.7%. And partially because of that, his home run rate has gone from 3.7% to 5.7%. Out of 71 qualifiers heading into Sunday, his home runs per 9 was the highest. And 4 of his 12 home runs allowed have been on sinkers, despite him only throwing it 12.5% of the time. So 33% of the home runs on a pitch that's only thrown 12.5% of the time. Hitters are slugging 379 and slugging 828 off that sinker. And yeah, Seth Lugo, we kind of expected him to come back down to earth a little bit, heading into this year. And that's kind of looking like what the case is at the current moment. He's been one of the worst pitchers of the second half, and he is getting a alarming. All right, so now we go from the lows to the highs, where we are talking players and subjects that have been outperforming expectations with our Sunday, August 31st, 2025 edition of How About That?
He's striking out less, walking more, and he's also making better contact.
Turning into a strikeout machine just out of nowhere.
He's been excellent all around this year.
He is getting a
How about that?
Yeah, so for my How About That, I am sticking in the NL Central. Talking about it, the Brewers, obviously, because there's a lot that's been, quite How About That-ish about them, including the recent performance of Bryce Terang, who has, in the month of August, been slashing 340, 398, 680 for a 1078 OPS and a 196 weighted runs created plus, culminating into a 1.8 FWAR throughout the month. Among the 180 qualifiers this month, he ranks 6th in batting average, 1st in slugging, 1st in OPS, 1st in weighted runs created plus, and 5th in FWAR. He's been possibly the best hitter in the league in the last month. Throughout the month, he is getting ahead of the ball more. His average point of intercept, meaning when the ball meets bat, has gone from an average of 1.1 inches ahead of home plate before the span to 2 inches in this span, and that has obviously allowed him to pull the ball more. In fact, before the span, his pull rate was 24.1%, which was the lowest among the 129 hitters with at least 250 batted balls before August. And in the span, it is up to 39.2%. It has gone up by 15.1% in this month, and that's outstanding. Not to mention his pulled air rate has also gone from 5% before the span to 18.9% in the span. And here's the big one. He has increased his fly ball rate from 22% to 28%, but his pull rate on fly balls has gone from 4.3% before the span to 38.1% in this span. His 4.3% previously was the second lowest among the 332 hitters with at least 25 batted balls in this, 25 fly balls in this span. Yeah, now we're talking about a 38% pull rate on fly balls. Just to give you a better idea, he had 3 pulled fly balls total from March through July, and he has 8 in this month. So he's more than doubled that. His barrel rate on fly balls has also gone from 21.7% before the span to 52.4% in the span, the ninth highest among the 271 hitters with at least 10 fly balls throughout the month. His whiff rate against all fastballs has gone from 16% to 12.5%. And if you're wondering if he's done anything else against all fastballs throughout the month, among the 141 hitters with at least 50 plate appearances ending on them, he ranks first in average with a 442, first in expected batting average with a 366, first in slugging with a 923, fifth in expected slugging with a 770, first in WOBA with a 578, fourth in expected WOBA with a 499, and first in run value per 100 at 19.95. So Bryce Terang, like I said, maybe the best hitter in the league throughout the last month. Just a really impressive revelation that we've seen from him in terms of pulling the ball, hitting it hard in the air. And yeah, he is getting a well-deserved how about that.
Yes, Bryce Terang.
How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And we are staying in the NL Central once again, and we're crossing a team off the list.
Nice.
Talking about a Pirate. Not a lot of opportunities to do that, which is why they were the last team to be crossed off the list last year.
But not this year.
Not this year, third to last. I'm talking about Carmen Maginski.
Yeah.
Carmen Maginski of the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's sort of a reliever dive. He has made 2 starts in the span, so it's not a full-on reliever dive. It's like a reliever, like, step into the pool, I guess, or like a little I don't know, a little half measure. But Carmen Maginski, in his last 16 appearances, has thrown 40 and a third innings pitched with a 1.56 ERA and 2.20 FIP. And out of 126 pitchers to throw 40 plus innings in the span heading into Sunday, his ERA and FIP both ranked second. His strikeout rate has gone from 16% before the span to 27% in the span. His whiff rate has gone from 19% to 26%. So obviously, hitters are having a lot harder time making contact against him. They're also hitting the ball softer against him. His average exit velocity has gone from 90.3 miles per hour to 88.5 miles per hour. In a major turn of events, his ground ball rate has gone from 39% to 53%. And out of 152 pitchers to allow 100 plus batted balls in the span, Maginski's ground ball rate against is the 12th highest. Also, his line drive rate against has gone from 31% to 22%, and his barrel rate has gone from 9.1% to 3.8%. Part of that has helped his home run rate go from 3.5% to 0.6%. And out of 126 pitchers with 40 plus innings heading into Sunday, his home runs per 9 was the second lowest. And part of his success has gone from been due to a change in his pitch mix. He has gone from using his sinker 12% of the time to 17% of the time, but more significantly, he has gone from using his changeup 9% of the time to using it 20% of the time. He is getting ground balls on his sinker 71% of the time and getting ground balls on his changeup 61% of the time. So I think the increase in the sinker and the changeup has helped him raise his ground ball rate and decrease, the general damage that batted balls have had against him. And it hasn't necessarily, it definitely has not hurt his strikeout rate or whiff rate either. It's actually increased. Also, hitters are slugging 282 against the changeup and 269 against the sinker. So partially due to a change in his pitch mix, Carmen Baginski has the second best ERA and FIP among pitchers with 40 plus innings over the last over 2 months. So yeah, Carmen Maginski is getting a
How about that?
Very nice. If you played in the 2023 NLCS, we're gonna get you eventually. Diamondbacks and Phillies.
yes, yeah. We're
Nice.
gonna do
Phillies
that.
are tough because all the guys that have performed well are guys that you expect would.
We've encountered
And like
this
Luzardo's
situation.
been awesome this year, but like he still has an ERA in the 4s.
Right.
It's
Like
tough.
Yeah, we've encountered this problem with the Phillies because they are kind of a star-heavy team. They're like when they're succeeding, it's never like the guys you don't expect to succeed.
Right.
Like, they were literally, I think they were one of the, I think in 2023 they were the team with the that was last to be crossed off the list, and then the year
Huh.
before that they were like fourth last to be crossed off the list. So it's been
Interesting.
consistent that we just have a hard time picking Phillies.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because I do remember, and this is me just bragging, but one of your questions, you asked like I think it was the year of the rule changes. You had questions, for our season prediction show. So you asked like who will be the team to be crossed off last, and I said Phillies, and it ended up being the Phillies. So,
Wow.
and you broke it with Christopher Sanchez was the guy you picked, and you
Well,
did it
yeah.
well, you did it exclusively off of his movement, and he actually turned out to be a great pitcher. So
Yep.
that was a very good foreshadowing there, fall of 2023. Um,
Love that.
but uh, but yeah, that shall do it for players to highlight. Any final words?
Yeah. All right. I saw this thing this week that I thought was pretty cool. I didn't see it get any movement on the internet, so I thought I'd bring it up here. So, the Mariners and Padres played each other this weekend, or this week rather. And like they've been dubbed like kind of just like geographic rivals by MLB. Like I don't really know if
Hmm.
there's an actual rivalry between them. Not one that I can remember, but other than the fact that Preller and Depoto trade with each other all the time. But for I guess for years they've been unofficially calling the season series between the two the Vetter Cup because Eddie Vedder has ties to both Seattle and San Diego. But this year they actually made the Vetter Cup like an official thing. They kept track of it. Like there's a logo for it for the games. There's a the trophy that the season series winner gets, which is a guitar with like both teams' logos on it. And Eddie Vedder was actually here to pass it out this week. But the thing with this series is that the teams play 6 games against one another throughout the regular season, which means there's a possibility for a 3-3 tie. So how do you determine who wins the Vetter Cup? Well, there's a couple series of tiebreakers. The first of which obviously is run differential, but within the games. But if that's tied, I think this is my favorite thing ever. It's determined by which team in each of the 6 games had the individual highest exit velocity, because the initials EV are both exit velocity and Eddie Vedder. So if it came down to that, the Mariners would have won it because of a Rowdy Tellez 100 mile per hour, 111 mile per hour ball that he hit back in May. And I just love that that's a tiebreaker. I hope one day that happens. I
That's
will be
sick.
rooting for it.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love that. I love that.
Um, did
I,
the Mariners won the season series 5-1, so
hmm.
none of this came into account. But I hope this happens one day.
Yeah, I saw that hashtag and I was wondering what it was because I've known I know that Eddie Vedder is like from Seattle, or at least Pearl Jam started in Seattle, but I also know of his ties in Chicago, and I was like, oh, I didn't think the Cubs and Mariners were playing, but I guess yeah, San Diego. I didn't know his ties to San Diego, so that is a cool thing. I like making fun, stupid things. I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, anything more before we wrap this up?
that was all I had. Is there anything you had?
Yeah, no, nothing. Yeah, just final month of baseball. I mean, yeah, the season ends on the 28th, so um less than a month of regular season baseball, and then it's the
Mm,
postseason. It's so fun. Kind of ready for it, to be honest. I feel like the races have not been super exciting. There hasn't
yeah,
really, although watch out for the Rangers. I think the Rangers could potentially wreak some havoc here.
I agree.
Also, I find it funny that they have a better differential than both the Astros and Mariners. They've definitely been run differential this year, but yeah, watch out for them. But other than that, I think that does it for this installment of Above Replacement Radio. We hope you enjoyed this one. If you were listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and want to watch the conversation as it happens, go to the YouTube channel. It is called Above Replacement Radio. Um, and check out the guest interviews playlist. We've had Matt Brash on. Speaking of the Mariners, we've had Matt Brash on. He's had a great year over there in Seattle. We've had Jeff Passan, Chris Rose, Sarah Langs, Mike Petriello, Foolish Bailey, Mark Simon 4 separate times. We've had them all on the podcast here, so feel free to check out the guest interviews. It's all pretty evergreen. Also follow us on social media. Follow me on Twitter at Chris_Gianta. Follow Daniel on both Twitter and Instagram at Daniel_Curran, and follow the show Instagram at Above Replacement Radio for all the show needs. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we hope to see you next time, where we will be talking all the happenings in Major League Baseball. Once again,
This conversation
is over.